Good morning, everybody. Orange J here with another sort of CONVALLARIA video, and today we are doing a MAITHA build guide. Now, this is the legendary unit that we all get first. MAITHA is a tank. You have her on your account from minute one, and you know what? She's pretty dang good at her job. She's got a lot of knockback. She can take a lot of hits from the enemy, and building her is a little bit of like a mystery. A lot of her skills do kind of the same thing. So let's walk through her right here and see what the thought process is, or at least I'll give you my thought process on how to build her. First, let's look at her trait. She has block. Now, if you don't know what block does, it's a 50% chance to face the enemy when you're taking damage from the front or side and decrease that damage by 20%. There's actually a way within her kit to make that a 100% proc chance, and that's pretty good. Also, at the end of her turn, she heals the two allies with the lowest HP, restoring 20% of their lost HP. This does a surprising amount of healing, and there's so many times in the game where I have a character who like otherwise would be dead, but they're hanging on by a thread because MAITHA just keeps, she's like, have a little bit more health, have a little bit more health, and she can heal herself with that. Okay, her basic attack is bad. It's just a basic attack. 100% damage, just walks up to somebody and hits them. You will want to replace that with her basic attack replacement. Unlike somebody like Arawia, who has some utility in here, hers is just basic. And then her starting skill, Leg Slam, deals 120% damage and knocks the target back 2 tiles and inflicts move -1. This is really good. The issue with it is, it has a 2 energy cost. Now, that doesn't seem like a bunch, and you can do this quite a bit, but she can be a very energy intensive unit if you want her doing anything outside of just running up, being next to somebody, autoing them, and popping her passive heal. She kind of needs energy, and so you got to think about that when you're going through her build, which let's go through that now. Okay, rank 1 offers an interesting choice. I will start by saying I think you take guard. Guard gives her one time around of taking a physical attack for any other ally within a 2-tile radius of a character and increasing her defense by 20%. This is really clutch. It's that skill where she'll just switch places with somebody. It doesn't cost any energy, and that's why I think you take it. It's something she can do for nothing, and it gives her utility for free, and I think that's what you're going for here. I will say co-defense is really good, and if you have a way of always being able to run Come On Everybody, which is in rank 3 and we'll talk about here in a minute, co-defense might be better. Like if your whole build with MAITHA is always keep Come On Everybody up, or just keep Come On Everybody up as much as possible, co-defense could be the way to go. Still, that's almost impossible to do, so I think you take guard for always having one trigger around of MAITHA taking an attack for somebody else. Okay, rank 3. We already talked about Come On Everybody. I think this is the skill that you take, but once again, it has weird overlap with guard. What Come On Everybody does is it's a nice big diamond-shaped heal and buff for her allies, and she will take physical attacks from the enemy for 2 turns in a 2-turn radius. So for 2 turns, she will take all of the attacks instead of just 1 attack like she gets from guard. Still, that is an awkward overlaying of skills. The biggest problem with Come On Everybody is 3 energy cost. And once again, we're to that problem with MAITHA. We're like, gosh, generate some freaking energy, girl. Like, if you want to be knocking people around and healing and doing all the stuff she can do, you almost need like barrel energy battering you or something, which can be kind of hard to figure out. Okay, alternatively, you do have MAITHA's charge. And for people who take this, first of all, I'm going to recommend Come On Everybody, because it's really good. If you take MAITHA's charge, I do understand where you're coming from. You're saying, I already have guard, and MAITHA's charge gives me a cheap move. It's on a 5-turn cooldown, which sucks, but it's cheap, and it charges, gives you a gap closer, deals damage, and is another knockback. It's a cheaper knockback. I actually have seen people take both of these skills. I think that's fine. Swap them in and out when you need to. So I would recommend both the left side skills first, but I do understand the argument for MAITHA's charge plus guard. Okay, rank 5. Now, rank 5, you're going to get your reaction ability. You have 2 choices. Endurance activation is when receiving healing, you gain damage reduction 2 for 2 turns. So anytime you receive healing, you will take 20% less damage. However, I think the one that you end up taking is block counter, because block counter plays with her passive. So when receiving a melee attack from the front or side, there's a 100% chance to trigger block. This leads to a strike back with basic attack dealing 70% damage to the attacker, and it can be activated once per turn. So basically, whenever she blocks or takes a hit, if it's not from the back, she will take 20% less damage and strike back. The benefit to this over this is that here you're hitting them back. You're adding a little bit of damage. Now, I actually on my MAITHA took endurance activation because I felt like I was always going to be healing myself. However, that's often not the case, and the mistake I made was thinking MAITHA will always be healing herself because she's always going to be taking hits. If an AoE hits like your whole team and MAITHA for a couple turns is popping her like passive heal on a couple of your DPS characters and not herself, you will lose this damage reduction pretty quick. Here, if you're always blocking, you're always taking 20% less damage, and if you have guard, you're going to be taking a lot of hits and proccing the block. So I actually think block counter is a little better than endurance activation. Both are solid. Pick whichever one you like better, works for your build. Now, rank 7, Battle Flag of CONVALLARIA seems great. However, it's not going to stack with like Rawia's leader aura for your Sword of CONVALLARIA character. So for all Sword of CONVALLARIA allies in battle, increase attack by 10% and defense 20%. These are the skills that the stats that MAITHA wants, but Rawia's is going to override this. Like, don't stack. So I don't think you take that if you're ever playing Rawia. And since we get both these characters for free, you probably are. So instead, take Bandage. It's an instant. It's a 3-turn cooldown, single target healing 30%. You could even use this to help keep your endurance activation passive going. And if you're never running Rawia, but you are running some other CONVALLARIA characters in your group, take Battle Flag of CONVALLARIA. If you are, just take Bandage, gives you access to an instant heal if you want, and you don't even have to equip either of those. Honestly, her rank 7, a little bit weak if you can't take advantage of the aura, in my opinion. Okay, rank 9. Here's where we get to replace her melee attack, and this will be a big upgrade for her. You have two options, Armor Piercing Strike or Powerful Attack. Powerful Attack sucks. It just adds 10% damage. Literally no utility, just 10% more damage, gross. Instead, take Armor Piercing Strike, and this gives her some good utility. 100% physical damage and defense down 20%, magic defense down 20% for 2 turns. Really good, especially on like boss fights where you just have to like burn down some big tarot card boss or something like that. Useful. Take that. Then at rank 11, you have two options, MAITHA's combo or invulnerability. Now, MAITHA's combo, MAITHA deals 20% damage 1 time, 50% damage 3 times, and she knocks the target back 2 tiles. It does a lot of damage, but you're probably not building your MAITHA to be doing damage, and you already have a lot of knockbacks in her kit. Instead, take invulnerability because it gives you damage reduction 4, which is decreased damage taken by 40%. Mind's Eye, which activates block once after taking a back attack, so now you can block all directions. That's nice. And immunity to disrupt for 3 turns. Now there's a 5-turn cooldown on this, so you need to time it right, but this makes you into a god tier tank. You're always blocking and you're taking 40% less damage on top of it, and you can't be disrupted, which means you can't have any of these debuffs. Invulnerability is godlike. MAITHA's combo is more fun, but we ain't playing MAITHA for fun. We're playing MAITHA to let our other characters have fun. So take invulnerability, in my opinion. Now, gear wise, we get this sword for free. Like from playing the game, you get to Newborn Blade, and it's okay for her, but I think there's 2 better options. I think there's several better options, actually. First of all, the Senator Swift Sword gives you HP, and after dealing damage with single target attack, which all of her attacks are, you inflict move -1 for 1 turn, effectively giving you the debuff that her leg slam has all the time. I like that a lot. Don't let these people run away from you. Stick to them as a tank. I like that. Alternatively, I like Cinder Edge for if you want a little bit more damage on there, you could put some Scorch debuffing on the character. Cornucopia Dagger, if you're getting the Cornucopia weapons. At the start of your turn, if you're healthy, there's a 40% chance to get 2 energy back. We've already talked about how she's a very energy intensive character. Energy back if you keep her healthy. I like that a lot. And if the character's dying, you can heal yourself. That's good. Here's HP 5%, and if you have shield, which she won't have shield, so forget about that one. It's basically this one, and this one that I really like on her. But if this is what you're building, because this is what you have for now, it's fine. You can swap that to a different character later. For her gear, what I like to look for in gear is anything that gives you more magic defense. Magic damage hits like a truck in this game, so more magic damage is very useful. That's going to be this one here, and I wrote it down. What is the other one? Was it Is it this one? This is just damage taken decreased by 5%. Coexist armor is a great epic piece of gear to build that you can use for a really long time. So yeah, I meant to put that one in there. You could give her the healing one right here, which is fine. Oh man, what other one? Oh yeah, this one. Tarot Shroud. So Shroud of the Void. I think this is really good. It's an instant decreased magic damage taken by 50%, activated up to 1 time. This effect lasts for 2 turns. So you tap this, then for 2 turns, if you take magic damage, you'll take 50% less 1 time. I think this is probably her best in slot, in my opinion. And then when we're talking about Tarot Whispers, let's look at Silence of the Hermit. I don't even know if you look anywhere different than this. This is 10% less damage taken. Just take this one. It's really good. This is her best in slot by a lot. Take Silence of the Hermit and take 10% less damage and make your MAITHA even harder to kill. Okay, so that's my MAITHA guide. I hope that was good. Again, if you're building your MAITHA like DPS MAITHA and that's working for you, please comment that in the comment section. I read all the comments. So I feel like at some point in this game, I start doing some weird builds with some characters because you can see how the game wants you to do strange things, but I mean, maybe you had unlimited energy regeneration MAITHA, who's like MAITHA combo kicking people off of ledges all day. That's a fun build. There's a lot of ledges in this game, so maybe it's viable on certain stages. I don't know. That's my MAITHA guide. Thank y'all for watching and have a great day. I'll catch you next time. Peace.